Museum on Tiananmen Square. It's extremely crass because you have one exhibition which is just basically the party's view of the past 150 years, which was that China was being trammeled by the outside world, but that it was only the Communist Party that saved China, and that everything was leading toward the Communist Party victory in 1949. Just really boring.
When most Westerners think about Mao or modern China, they don't think about this or this. It's more like this. Oh my god, Carmen. Look at this propaganda. It's like so problematic in so many ways. The CCP is like trying to indoctrinate the masses through this single narrative. I,
I know, right?
it's just, I can't even. It's literally systematic abuses of power. What an outrageous paradigm.
Yeah. What about the marginalized voices? Let's go to Beijing and expose the CCP.
Oh yeah, preach it. Beijing is like the cultural and political center of China. If you're going to find those problematic narratives anywhere, it's bound to be in Beijing. Probably at the museums or something.
Yeah, let's go. Wow, it's Tiananmen.
Yeah, this is the place where Mao said the Chinese people have finally stood up. But have they really?
Is that the museum that we're gonna go to?
No, Carmen. That's the Great Hall of the People. This is where the CCP comes up with their latest schemes to brainwash the masses and erase history and the narratives of the oppressed peoples. Come on, man. This is like the worst. Wow, look, Carmen. It's the Tiananmen monolith. It probably has magical powers indoctrinating people around it. Look, Carmen, it's that problematic museum that we have to liberate.
I don't think I want to go anymore. You made it sound boring. I don't want to.
Carmen, I just can't even right now. Who else besides us? Very smart and socially conscious American students that are totally woke can save the Chinese people from themselves. You know what? Nobody can. They're literally in a vicious cycle of despair and systematic oppression, and they don't even know it. Wait. Pause. See, Carmen? Look at this sad-looking man. He's like so oppressed. Can't you not see the despair on his face? It's all because of the CCP and how they're controlling his life.
Oh, okay.
It's literally our duties as privileged and intelligent American students to save China.
Wow, this place is big.
Yeah, you're right. This place is rather grand. It's like a church nave turned 180 degrees. But instead of preaching a religion about a spaghetti monster in the sky, this place is literally preaching about how Mao is God. What a problematic paradigm.
Hey Patrick, what's over there? The road to rejuvenation? What's that?
As Pulitzer Prize winning journalist Ian Johnson once said, it's where the Communist Party, or the victors of history, twist the narratives into a very single and boring message.
What are you doing? We're not supposed to film here. What if you get caught?
Shh, it's for the greater good. I would totally die for my crimes if it meant bringing awareness to this dire issue.
Oh my gosh, they actually have historical footage. Can I stay and watch?
Oh my god, they're brainwashing you already? We have to move on. We can't stay here. There's nothing to learn here but violent and divisive rhetorics that make people kill each other.
Whoa, is this part of a movie set?
Well, actually, Carmen, it's nothing more than a problematic attempt to increase national fervor. The CCP loves to start modern history with the Opium Wars. This is just so intolerant on so many levels. Like, excuse me, but how do we even define what modern really means? Just because the West came to China doesn't mean that's when China modernized. That's just such a problematic train of thought.
Whoa, what happened with the lighting? Is something big gonna happen?
I'm glad you noticed lights too. It's like the CCP is trying to institutionalize their official rhetoric using lights to reinforce their narratives.
Or maybe it's because it makes things cooler and more easy to understand.
Um, Excuse me, but is that even an argument? Are you trying to imply that not everything the CCP does is trying to manipulate or control people?
Don't you think you and others said this enough? Can't you tell this is exciting? Are you telling me you still believe this is some boring generic propaganda?
That's just so ignorant. Can't you see that I'm just trying to bring awareness to such an important issue? Look, Carmen, see how lights and color are used to make Mao into some type of weird deity figure? This is like so pretentious. Mao's like basically Jesus saving China from the Dark Ages. Like, look at all this bright red and bright lights. They're clearly trying to say that the CCP is like some type of savior.
Maybe you're just reading into it too much. Red is an auspicious Chinese color and also the color for communism. So clearly, when you're in the communist era, don't you expect to see red a lot?
Wow, stop being so bigoted. Even though you may be right, it's hurt my feelings, so you're clearly wrong. Wow, Carmen, look at these statues. The CCP is like trying to exploit the victimization of its own people. Like, the CCP can so easily point fingers at the Western imperialist powers and the fascist Japanese, but what about themselves? Like, where are the victims of the Cultural Revolution and the Great Leap Forward? This is just more evidence that the CCP rewrites history because they are literally evil.
But if you think about it, not to detract from the realities of human destruction or failure of previous communist campaigns, can you really hold the CCP for not fully confronting their errors on a public or monumental scale? I don't think any country wants to present themselves as failures.
Not an argument. Where are your sources? Like, mine are Time Magazine, Hung, Johnson, and Fairbanks. They've all written about how museums in China love to ignore history.
They're from my own thoughts. Ever heard of independent thinking?
Well, well then, fine. You win this one. But we're gonna go to another museum so I can prove my point.
Maybe we should go to the Museum of Resistance Against Japanese Aggression. I hear that children will be going to museums tomorrow. We can check this one out.
Great idea, Carmen. We have to save the children. Why doesn't anybody ever think about the children? Well, this is like problematic. Look at all these children ready to be indoctrinated by this machine of an institution. I wonder what like sick practices the CCP are like conducting with these children to turn them into these communist super soldiers.
Nah, they're kids. They'll forget what they've seen in there after a while. Look, they're actually interested in the exhibits. And it looks like they're having a lot of fun reading the plaques and looking at these life-sized soldiers. Look! Look at that kid. Look how much fun he's having looking at these exhibits. See, this isn't complete brainwashing. Oh, okay, maybe not all of them are interested in the exhibits, but at least they're not getting brainwashed. See, Patrick, they aren't taking their brains out or anything.
Don't be fooled, Carmen. That's just too simple-minded and ignorant. We still have to find that secret passage to the underground indoctrination chambers. Come on, Carmen, come this way. I bet the door is around here somewhere.
Oh my gosh, it looks like I'm entering a Hollywood set. What's going on? Oh my god, look at those bombings. It feels like I'm actually in this scene experiencing what these soldiers experienced. It's like I'm a part of history! Everything is awesome!
Awesome? More like problematic. It's the same ridiculous paradigm as the National Museum of China. They also had these set pieces too. They're like trying to glorify violence, and that's just so wrong on so many levels. It's just that same boring message.
How is it boring? Or the same? They're involving themselves with the set, adding in their own imagination, as if they're involved with the narrative in their own way.
Well, I think we reached the end of the museum. Wow, it's like we can't agree on everything. It's almost as if history and like the museums of China are more complicated than they seem.
Yeah, we could be arguing for days.
But you can still agree that the CCP is like brainwashing the masses with their museums, right? And museums are like boring because they constantly preach the same message that they learn in school. It's nothing new, it's just boring, right?
The reason why official rhetoric is so popular is because the museums make the narrative fun and memorable. It's a great storyteller. Maybe more research needs to be done before you assume what modern China is like. And outrageous claims to save the children from the CCP is just plain silly.
Maybe you're right, Carmen. Maybe we should take a class or something about Beijing or China and its modern culture to really come to these safer conclusions about China.
Until next time!